The Quezon City Regional Trial Court has ordered the transfer of Apollo Kibuloy and his 4 co-defendants to a regular jail, but a legal gray area has since emerged, with another court reaching a conflicting decision on the custody of the accused. Joining us tonight now to talk more about this is one of Apollo Kibuloy's lawyers, also a lawyer to other high-profile, shall we say, personalities, Attorney Ferdinand Topacio. Good evening, Attorney Topacio. Thanks for coming all the way here.
Yes, it's always a pleasure.
What's the priority on your plate?
What do you mean?
I mean, given
How do you divide your time?
All clients with equal importance, of course.
Because I was reading the story of, coming off the news about Apollo Kibuloy, let's talk about him first. Do you understand why his transfer to regular jail was delayed?
Well, I understand from information given to me by other counsels that there seems to be some conflict of jurisdiction, but I'm sure that will be sorted out. It's a procedural matter, and it shouldn't really impact on the overall scheme of having him face trial and belie the accusations against him.
Have you spoken to him since he was captured?
Not lately, but we are a team, so we exchange information. We deem that there should be one person to take point because of the saying that too many cooks spoil the broth. So after things have settled and we buckle down to trial, and that's when we will have a division of labor.
Attorney Israelito Torion is the lead counsel.
Yes, and I've been referring a lot of my media man friends to him for interview because he would be more knowledgeable since he's the boot on the ground.
Right. We've spoken to him a few times.
Yes,
did you know
yes.
that Kibuloy was about to surrender?
Yes, that is why we decry the attempts to spin this into some sort of arrest within the compound. But, well, that is water under the bridge. A lot of things have been said about that, and I think the public will know what really is true.
We know who to chase.
Well, you should chase Bobet because he has more facts. I've been counsel to Pastor Kibuloy personally. But, these are criminal cases that need attention, and Bobet is from Davao, so he's been there since day one, from the siege of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ until the surrender of Pastor Kibuloy.
You said your personal counsel to the pastor. What led him to surrender to ISAF?
Well, that I would have to come within the bounds of a lawyer-client privilege. But suffice it to say that, well, they've always wanted him to surrender. Now he has surrendered. So let's get the ball rolling, so to speak, with respect to the cases against him.
Yeah, because in April, he said he wouldn't be caught alive. In fact, he said the Marcos administration is conspiring with the U.S. to have him assassinated. And sabi niya, and I quote, "Barilin niyo na lang ako." So this is a complete 180 from that. What made him change his mind?
Well, that is precisely the reason why he surrendered to the intelligence service of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. What I can reveal in public is that it was a matter of trust. As I said, all the others will have to be kept under the cloak of confidentiality. That is my bounden duty as a lawyer.
Your camp has requested for military custody, but the Department of National Defense has refused the motion to transfer custody to the military. What can you say about that?
Well, they have the reasons. We will always respect the process now that we are here. And our priority now is to prepare for his defense.
Okay, and how is that going? I imagine as his attorney, that's what's concerning most of your time. What can you tell us, Attorney Topacio, about the plan, the legal plan?
Well, the plan is that we believe, in our humble opinion, of course, that the government has a weak case. That is why it was dismissed in the first instance. And, well, of course, I cannot talk about the merits of the case. The cases are in court. It would be unethical and improper for me to be talking about the merits. But suffice it to state that we will be giving the pastor the best defense within our abilities as lawyers to give him.
Can you tell us a little bit about jurisdiction? Because the latest is that he will be sent to the new Quezon City jail in Payatas. Is that final? Because I believe that the case in Quezon City is bailable.
Yes, there are...
And it is in Pasig that's non-bailable. So how does that work?
Well, of course, when you file for bail, it will be with the court that has jurisdiction. You must remember that these are extraordinary circumstances because usually venue in a criminal case is jurisdictional. The venue of a criminal case is where the crime was supposedly committed. However, in this case, the Supreme Court saw it proper to transfer the cases from Davao to several courts in Manila. So that's how it works. This is a case of an extraordinary procedural move, which the Supreme Court
So you will be
thought
filing
proper.
bail
Yes,
in the Quezon City Court?
Of course. Actually, I want to disabuse the minds of the people that there are bailable and non-bailable cases. All cases are bailable. It's just that when the potential penalty for a case is less than reclusion perpetua or life imprisonment, bail is a matter of right. If it is reclusion perpetua or life imprisonment, you may still file for bail, but it becomes a matter of discretion. So, the term non-bailable is misleading, to say the least.
Attorney Topacio, so just to clarify and simplify everything,
Yes.
basically, this is an extraordinary case. The cases from Davao have been transferred to different courts here in Metro Manila, and that's why we're having some trouble trying to figure out. So that means this is not normal. So do they have to deliberate on the rules?
Well, I wouldn't call it trouble because, this is not the first time that it has happened. There was this famous case of People versus Gutierrez that is a landmark case in this country wherein the venue was transferred from Ilocos Sur to Manila. So there have been some cases that have been precedents.
Let's talk about extradition. Attorney Torion told our news channel that the pastor is ready to face extradition charges. The DOJ also said that they expect the U.S. to request his extradition very soon. Where do you stand on that?
Well, of course, extradition is a process. Since we have a mutual extradition treaty with the United States, the process is that upon receipt of a request for extradition, the DFA validates if the case is extraditable. Because when you have a treaty of extradition, there is a list of cases that will require extradition. Once the DFA certifies that this is an extraditable offense, it endorses the matter to the Department of Justice because it is the Prosecutor General or whoever the Secretary of Justice appoints who will initiate extradition proceedings in court. An extradition proceeding is just like a trial.
Right. The DOJ already explained that to us, the process. But the point is, what is your game plan then, once the U.S. requests for his extradition?
Well, we will then fight extradition, of course, because at the basic
Akala ko ba
principle...
he's ready to face extradition
because,
charges?
wait, let me just interject. There is a
No.
lot of people saying, attorney, that kailangan daw muna matapos yung mga kaso sa Pilipinas. Since meron siyang kaso dito, like you said, they're already in the courts. Can you clarify for us if that is true? Because some people are saying, even some lawyers, and we do know that it is open to interpretation, like some aspects of the law, right? Dapat ba tapusin muna yung mga kaso sa Pilipinas bago siya ma-extradite? Or pwede nang simulan yung extradition process habang tinatapos yung mga kaso dito? How does that all play out?
Well, let me just clarify that when he said he's ready to face extradition, it doesn't mean he's willing to be extradited. He will appear and fight extradition. We will be appearing in the extradition process and protecting the rights of our client. Now, the general rule really is that even if the offense is extraditable, the primary jurisdiction, of course, belongs to the local courts, especially if you're a Filipino citizen, because that takes priority. Because it is any extradition is a derogation of sovereignty. You must understand. So it's like giving up your citizen to another jurisdiction for criminal interdiction. So that is why that is another point with respect to saying that extradition should not take place, at least not at this point.
Okay. All right. Sorry, we're running out of time, but we need to talk about the other high-profile case, Cassandra Li Ong, whom you're also representing. Actually, how did you come to be Cassandra Ong's representative?
Well,
you never told the story.
Yeah, I was I was approached by some people
Who?
That will have to that will have to remain
Give us the
under
initials.
loyal-client privilege. But it shouldn't matter, really, in the grand scheme of things. Who approached
From
the
what
lawyer.
year? From what year?
Just
This
recently.
year.
Just recently.
This year,
Okay.
because when she was being deported,
did
she
say
didn't
stuff.
have a lawyer yet,
Yeah,
right?
and she did mention in the Quadcom hearing that she messaged you and she
Yeah.
picked you because matapang daw po kayo.
Akala lang niya siguro yun. Takot ako sa asawa ko eh.
So, first of all, how is Cassandra? She was hospitalized, we believe. Is she okay now?
Yes, she has been discharged as of this afternoon. But when I was visiting her at her place of confinement, a medical confinement, I saw that she was having a breakdown. She would cry every time she would see me, or she would remember the abuses that were done to her by the House Quadcom, especially the bamboozling, the browbeating, etc. That is why I think she had a breakdown in the middle of the hearings, and her blood pressure plummeted to 80/40. And according to the House Medical Director, her blood sugar was so low it could not even be read by the
Right.
what they use.
She also said, attorney, in that hearing, which I watched all of, she said she would rather face the cases in court. Okay? Now she faces being cited in contempt for the how manyth time by the Quadcom. How will this play out? Can she actually just stay silent and wait to hash it out in court?
Of course, because that is a right granted to her by the Constitution. Every person being investigated for the commission of an offense has the right to remain silent, the right against self-incrimination, the right to counsel. And unfortunately, it is these very rights that are being violated by the Quadcom and most possibly by some members of the Senate, because the attitude is that these committees are acting less and less like legislative panels and more like prosecutors, which should not be the case.
Go ahead, Gretch.
Latest cases to be filed against her: qualified human trafficking, money laundering, I believe.
Yes, that was a few days ago, the money laundering charges.
And you saw our reports a while ago.
Yes,
that,
yes.
Senator Jingo Estrada was saying that there is a boss of all Pogo, boss of the boss of all
As he
Pogos.
said, he heard, so it's hearsay.
That means if you take a look at the line, then your client is not the top honcho. Is there possibility that she might be willing to be a state witness?
I have no knowledge of that at the moment. What we are doing is protecting her rights, because that is exactly the reason why I'm saying that our legislators are acting more and more like investigators and less like lawmakers, because it is not the job of the Senate nor the House of Representatives to be investigating whether or not a person is guilty or not of a crime. The Supreme Court said as much in Neri versus Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, and the latest case, Ong versus Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, which I successfully argued before the Supreme Court and which came out last year.
Okay,
But
attorney,
hold on. I have to take exception to your use of the words bamboozled and browbeaten, because the question at the root of this all is, why couldn't she just have answered the question straight up? See, this is your defense, and I understand this, is you're trying to portray her as, a young woman, helpless, hapless, who's just a sort of victim in all of this. But the documents prove otherwise, attorney. There's
So?
at least 3 documents showing that she was involved.
Well, you seem
So
to...
why doesn't she just...
There seems to be a misconception on your part as to what rights are. A person being questioned for the commission of an offense does not have to answer. It's in the Constitution. You are meaning what you want us to do is to waive her constitutional rights? That is not correct.
Ganito na lang, attorney. What I want to know, I understand it's very tricky and, she does have her rights, right? But what I want to know is, will she go back to that Quadcom hearing? Because now she's cited in contempt. Does that mean she has no choice but to appear once she is well, once the medical stuff has been cleared? Does she have to appear? And how will that be, right? Because now the Senate wants to borrow her also as a resource speaker for their hearing. Do we just expect that this will go on? They'll be evasive because lawmakers also don't want to let her go, right? And they will put her on the hot seat.
She has no choice. She will be brought there. But we have already written both chambers of the legislature that she is exercising her right to remain silent. Everyone should know that the right to remain silent is in the Constitution again. That is why I'm saying they are exerting pressure on her. If you don't agree that she is being bamboozled or browbeaten, maybe you should watch the proceedings again.
I
Yes.
did. And I mean, it's a very quick answer, right? Even basic questions like where she went to school, she wouldn't even answer. That's
Because
very
that is
basic.
her right. The right to remain silent is absolute.
But the Senate and the lower house also has a right to investigate these issues.
In aid of legislation. Is
Correct.
there any legislation
In
here
aid-
by asking? Can you see that the legislators are even insinuating improper relations between her and her godfather? Is that not bamboozling?
I don't
You
wanna-
should watch the...
I did for the whole 9 yards. We did.
Well,
it's
and
part
if
of
you
our
don't
job.
see anything wrong with that, then there is something
don't
wrong
wanna,
with you.
I don't want to get into arguments of the legalities with you, but why is she refusing an executive session at this point?
Because when they asked for an executive session, they were excluding counsel. And according to the own rules of the House, in every step of the proceedings, there is a right to counsel. So what kind of a trick is that? You saw how they isolated me from my client. They were physically barring me from talking to my client. That is highly improper. That is foul. They were even bad-mouthing me, using the bully pulpit of the House to insinuate that I'm giving bad advice. If you undermine your client's faith in your counsel, you are
Attorney?
also violating the right to counsel.
We are running out of time. It's almost 9 p.m. and I'm sure they're going to cut us off pretty soon. But we're going to have to go through the third
client.
high-profile client. Yeah.
No,
You want to finish up with this?
no, I mean, because there's so many questions with
There
Cassandra Ong, right? So your recourse now is to not, so she has to appear, but your game plan is to not have her answer and just invoke her right from self-incrimination?
Of course, because that is
that's the answer?
constitutional. There is a reason why there is such a right. I should tell you about it sometime. It goes back to the 13th century.
Why do you like to
Okay,
represent the pogo players? I mean, I noticed.
sorry?
Why do you like to represent the pogo players? I
This
mean,
is
you were
my
also.
job. For the record, I'm anti-pogo.
You
I
are?
have commentaries, I have writings.
Parang si
that say-
Senator Bongo ah.
I'm anti-pogo. But everyone has the right to counsel. You people
But
should remember
you
that.
also represented Lincoln Ong of Pharmaly Pharmaceuticals, right?
And so? And we won that
he-
case, remember? The Supreme Court held that his warrant was improper.
Pharmaly, of course, well, I mean, as far as the warrant is concerned, Pharmaly, of course, is the one that was implicated in the COVID supplies scandal back in
Maybe you did not know that the case
21.
against Lincoln Ong and Mohit Dargani were dismissed yesterday. See, you don't report this news.
Where are these
I
players
can give
now?
you the documents if you want. Because you do not report these things, you only report things that you want to report. That is
That's
the
not true,
problem.
attorney. That's
Well,
not true.
well, we
Do
have
you watch
limited
us-
time.
Do you watch us every day? How would you know that?
But you didn't even know that the case against Mohit Dargani and
Because
Lincoln
we
Ong
haven't
were
been
dismissed.
given the paperwork,
documents,
the
yes.
documents
Documents
for it.
Well, you are
But
a
thank you for
reporter, so you should
breaking
report.
Thank you for
Well,
breaking it on our show. But
let's
Attorney
go to the
Topacio-
third client.
Yes, let's go to the third one.
How-
Arnie Teves,
yes.
of course. The last time, DOJ Secretary Remulla said, medyo na-delay lang daw because the Santo Papa was there. Pope Francis was in Timor-Leste. So how is that going, and are we really going to be seeing Kong Arnie back here in the Philippines soon? You keep
you know-
saying next week.
You know, Boying Remulla never ceases to mystify me because, you know, when there is a ruling, the litigant is the first one to know. How does he know that the appeal will be denied? Is he talking to someone inside the court? Is he talking to the justices? So even we do not know. Remember, the DOJ is a fountain of fake news. Remember when they said that Teves was going back and he never did? Remember when they said that the son of Teves was giving bribes when it was the other way around? Actually, he was being asked for bribes and he reported it. Remember when Clavano said that Teves would be here by the end of June and he's not here? Remember when they said that the appeal had been denied but it was a different stay order? So, you know, if I were you, I'd take pronouncements from the DOJ with a grain of salt.
So we're not going to see Kong Arnie back here soon.
Well, we don't know. But if Boying Remulla knows for sure that the appeal is going to be denied, then there's something wrong. Because that's advance information. That's illegal as well as unethical. Paano niya nalaman?
By when do you expect results in his political asylum still an option?
We don't know. Political asylum is there, but I'm really mystified as to where they're getting their information. Do they have a mole inside the Timor-Leste
What are we
justice
waiting
system?
for now for this case with the Kong Teves to move forward? May hantayan bang nangyayari?
Well, we
Attorney?
have an appeal with the Timor-Leste Supreme Court,
What
or
is
the
the
highest
ace up
court.
your sleeve? Why do you think will they keep the congressman there?
No, I don't know. That's why I'm wondering how Boying Remulla knows, because I don't know anything. We're waiting for the results of the appeal. When you go to court, of course, you should not know in advance what will happen. If you know in advance what is going to be the outcome of the case, definitely no one will disagree with me that there's something wrong there somewhere. There's a leak, an improper leak.
There were also issues with the extradition. We don't have a treaty with Timor. Has that been ironed out at least, or have you reviewed what the possible routes might be to try to get him back here?
Well, in fairness, even in the absence of an extradition treaty, a country may request another state for extradition. However, it does not become an obligation, but as a matter of discretion. So we have no beef with that. The government of the Philippines requested for extradition. The government of Timor-Leste, even in the absence of a treaty, decided to act on it. Well, that's international law. That is, but then there are still recourses in the same manner that in the case of Pastor Quiboloy, if the United States asks for extradition, then there's still a process that has to be done. That is the same way with Timor-Leste.
With all these cases, Apollo Quiboloy, Cassandra Ong, Arty Teves, which one are you most confident in?
Well,
Confident
I'm
in success?
confident with all of them. Remember, all that brouhaha about the chopper case involving FG Jose Miguel Arroyo has been acquitted. Remember all that noise about the fertilizer fund scam? My client, Jimmy Paula, has been acquitted.
Let's not bring the other cases in.
No,
Let's just
what I mean is
those
nothing
three.
really happens
For those
with
three.
these congressional investigations.
So what you're saying, what you think is going to happen is many years down the line, these cases will all be dropped.
I'm not saying that they will be dropped.
They could
I'm
be.
just saying that a lot of them are just noise. When it comes down to a trial, when it comes down to court where there are rules of evidence, where the playing field is level, when you don't have senators and congressmen haranguing you and subjecting you to verbal abuse, maganda ang
Attorney,
laban.
if you were that confident in court, why did the pastor only come out now?
There are
face the
many
music.
factors. As I've said before, there were concerns about safety. And as the Supreme Court said in one case, self-preservation is the supreme law. So one cannot fault.
Safety in terms of?
Well, it's a long story. As you said earlier, you're running out of time. But
Who
I can
is
tell you,
endangering the life of the pastor? Exactly.
well, I think he has intimated that the United States wants to wants
kidnap?
extraordinary rendition to be made upon him.
Where is that coming from? Because that continues to.
Well, Attorney Torian made it a
me.
condition, remember? They made it. The team made it a condition.
Yes,
They
that's
wanted
true.
the president to write
A
in
letter.
a letter.
Why will the United States government kidnap the pastor? Because that's extraordinary rendition, right?
Yes, and it's been done
Kidnapping.
by the United States in so many instances.
Why not go through the legal process? Because the local courts can waive jurisdiction over the cases.
No,
and
actually they
pass it
cannot
on.
because once after Pastor Quiboloy has surrendered, the local courts have acquired jurisdiction over him because he has been turned over to the courts. So that jurisdiction cannot be waived without insulting the sovereignty of the Philippine government. Because the primary jurisdiction belongs to you. If you waive that, you're saying that the processes, the legal system of another country is superior to yours.
And
Then that
if
would
you
be
knew
an
that, then the pastor would be safe here in the local courts, right?
That's
Yes,
what some
exactly.
people are saying.
That
yeah.
his life is in danger because of the United States government, but we hold jurisdiction over those cases.
Yes, true.
Yun ang tanong ng lahat eh. Bakit ngayon lang?
Well,
Diba?
many considerations that will have to remain under wraps for the moment.
Very
You
quick
say-
question. Is it part of the plan also for Kong Teves? This question is for Kong Teves, to keep him in Timor-Leste and for him not to be brought back to the Philippines?
Well, that matter is not up to us. It's up to the legal system, the judicial system of Timor-Leste.
You say that you're against pogos, and yet the clients you represent sit in the middle of a controversy involving billions of pesos.
No, I'm protecting the rights.
Right.
Yeah.
But you say you're fundamentally against pogos.
Yes, I am.
So how do you reconcile that?
Miss Cassandra Li Ong is not Pogo. I did not get a license for any Pogo. She is a person accused of crimes and whose rights are being violated. As a lawyer, it is my bounden duty. I took an oath to protect the rights and interests of any person whose rights and interests
But she
need to be
applied for
protected.
the PAGCOR license for the Pogo.
I did?
No,
I never knew her.
Ong. Cassandra
Yeah.
Ong.
So that has nothing to do with her rights being violated now. We have to divorce the person of Cassandra Li Ong, the individual, with
From what
her
she does.
corporate
From what-
activities.
from what she
Yes.
does.
So do I take it to mean at the heart of it, you don't believe that she's guilty, that she is involved in pogo operations?
It's not up to me to believe. The Constitution itself says that every person is
right.
presumed innocent until proven otherwise.
Right. I know, I understand that she has rights, but I'm just asking about your personal belief. Like, do you believe that the pogos facilitated all these criminal activity
No, with
and that
respect
your
to
clients
with
know
respect-
something related to the pogos? I'm not saying they're involved. I'm just saying they know something.
No, I will just tell you this. I don't mind the pogos, illegal or legal, I don't know, but what I'm saying is that with respect to the crimes being imputed against her, I believe she is innocent and I will defend her to the best of my ability. Because that is what a lawyer, any lawyer worth his salt, that's what a lawyer does. That's the job.
Okay. And on that,
With that-
note, we will end this conversation. Thank you for taking the time out to be with us in studio tonight, Attorney Ferdinand Topacio.
My pleasure.